Hey guys, welcome back to the Coffin Nail. I'm Lightbreaker, and today I'm talking with one of the most exciting punk bands I've heard in the last few years, Belfast's own Problem Patterns. Girls, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for taking the time to chat with us. My pleasure, my pleasure. So, for the uninitiated, Problem Patterns are, as I said, from Belfast, and they play loud and proud punk with some very confrontational lyrics, largely about feminism and the realities of life for them today. So, I want to get right into it with one of the most interesting aspects of your band from when I first heard you is that a couple of you swap instruments and take turns singing, and there's no one set front woman for the band. And from the first time I heard you, I've been wondering, how do you write a song? What's the process like?
We have loads of different ways of doing it. For example, Gal Pals was a concept that we all came up with together. And then we sat kind of on the floor like primary school kids and all wrote out the lyrics together, like a big stream of consciousness. And then other songs, because we're four very different women, the concept would come from one person more and their story, or just something that generally has enraged us. And then I'd like to say there's like more to the actual instrument bit, but it's like, oh, give me the bass, I want to go. Or, oh, I'd love to try this. And that's probably more to do with where the instrumentation comes.
Right. So it wasn't like a concept that you had going into the band that you would do it this way then?
Well, Kira and I, we worked together, and for a while, like, we had both said, oh, I want to start this band, oh, I want to start this band. And then we wanted to be in a band together, but obviously both wanted to sing in it or be like the front person. And then when we joined up with Bev and Bess, we were like, we should just take turns, and then, you know, less pressure that way as well.
Right.
Like,
yeah, you do find that like it gives everybody like way more of a chance to like speak about their own, because we do have a lot of very different opinions about the very same things in feminism and stuff. Like we just have different ways in which we would say it, even if our like ethoses and topics are the exact same. Like we would all put it a wee bit of a different way. So it makes it really fun and it keeps it interesting. So it kind of was the idea to go in with it, but when it comes to actually writing in the practice room, it's just we just do whatever we feel like at the time.
yeah. Like sometimes it will be like quite an impassioned thing where like we'll come in like properly storming in, just like, oh my gosh, this thing happened, I'm so annoyed about it, I want to write a song about it. And then other times it will be like Kira just being like, look at this thing I did on the bass, boom 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 boom. Just like, let's do something with that.
And when you record them then, is it whoever played the instruments when you wrote the song records the parts, or is...
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, to save time, like, you know,
quite reflective of our like whenever we play live, we play however we play live in the studio.
Right.
Yeah, to save time, like Bev would bring her guitar, Beth brings her breakables, I bring my bass, Alana brings her guitar. So it's not like we all bring like 5 instruments with us or anything. So we would use each other's equipment and stuff, but yeah, you play what you wrote.
I actually wanted to ask about that for playing live shows. Like, if someone brings their guitar, sets it up, how they play it. Like, I know everyone plays their guitars quite differently, even within the same band. Does that get annoying when you're like, ugh, it's too low or whatever?
I think we're all actually at the same... Sorry.
Sorry, no. I just tell Kira, I'm like, here, this pedal does this if you want that happen, or this pedal does the other if you want that to happen.
There's like a mid-shift panic where me and Bev would swap over and I play guitar, and she will have turned everything off for me so that I can just turn everything back on myself. But you're kind of just like on your feet and quickly trying to decide what you're having like before. So I'll just be like, oh, reverb, distortion, yeah, and I'll just like knock them all on. Which by now I have completely figured that out in like seconds, but at the start I remember being like,
Well, hey, that is punk as fuck.
Yeah, I reckon it's just about as fun to watch as it is to do. Just watching us be like, oh, do you want my pick?
Yeah, and
organized chaos.
Over, and I'd put the guitar under, and we had that sorted, you know.
Yeah, we've got it figured out now to like a really big, like to to a T, but at the start it was loads of us just bumping into each other, and which was fun.
Yeah, sometimes I would have to like sing just kind of a wee tune into the microphone, like switching about, switching about.
Well, I guess it's lucky none of you are left-handed then.
Yeah.
Oh, I am,
Very
but I
lucky.
play right-handed guitar.
Oh,
Yeah.
taken for the team.
Yeah.
With these
Another
different
fun challenge, though, wouldn't it?
with everyone
Spice
having
it
these
up.
different, I want to sorry, but with all your different approaches to the songs, do you think maybe someone who knew you could guess who had written each song if they didn't know?
Ooh.
I think
That's a
it's
new
very
question.
obvious. It's obvious that Kira wrote Day and Age. I think it has big Kira energy.
There's the line, do the messages, which
Do the
could only come
messages.
from Kira.
I have a strongest Belfast accent, and I would probably have the most fast-paced aggression. Alana's more of a slow, drony aggression, and Bev's more of like a high-pitched aggression. Bev would be an entirely drum-based aggression.
Yeah,
So
well,
if you can figure it out like that.
well, that aggression helped because I think the second song I ever played on the show was Day and Age, immediately followed by March of the Fire Ants by Mastodon, because it's in the same key.
That's what we follow that track with when we play it live as well.
Now that I would love to see.
Yeah.
And speaking of classic metal bands, I loved the Slayer jumper in the Christmas #1 video.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Masterclass. I just wanted to ask you one or two more questions about the songwriting. If you were to take the songs in isolation, just the style of the music, not about the lyrics, there's quite a lot in there. Like Day and Age is stylistically a pop punk song. And then 2 songs later, Sell by Date is just, it's hardcore. There's no two ways about it. Do you have sort of, boundaries is maybe too negative a word, but when you're writing songs, a sort of limit or a mark of what qualifies as a problem pattern song?
Ooh.
There's definitely been songs that we've maybe thought about doing, and like we played a few songs live maybe that didn't really feel like a problem pattern song, didn't really get the reaction that we normally get. And I think whenever you come to it, like Gal Pals is a completely different tone and type of song than say Sell by Date or Mediocre Man even. But I think whenever we write it, we can kind of tell by how it feels if it's going to be a problem pattern song. Like whenever we wrote Shouty, it was just like, okay, we've done it. That's another tick. There's another one.
Yeah.
I don't really know how else to describe it, but just kind of how it feels.
Yeah, we kind of do know going into it what the general idea of it's going to be. We know if it's a more tongue-in-cheek kind of funny song, we kind of know the tone. And then we tend to keep our more serious topics just a bit more straight to the point punk and straight to the point kind of. But yeah, I think we also just like the fun of it. We don't put any boundaries on it at all. Whenever we're writing, we're like, yeah, just why not? Like we'll try that. And I've always wanted to do this. Let's give that a go. More so than like, going in with the mindset that it has to sound a certain way. Like we never do that. In terms of like genre, like we wouldn't make it have to be like this. But we kind of know between us what vibe we're gonna go for. Like with the Christmas song, we were like, we need to write a problem pattern song, which meets a Christmas song, which turned into like a pop punk sort of Christmas. But it was like we knew what we were going for in our heads.
Yeah, when I sat down to write the riff for the Christmas song, I was like, problem patterns. They love a good repeating riff. Let's write a good repeating riff. That's my process.
Did you decide that it had to be a major key to be a Christmas song?
Not always. Not always. We decided it would be because I think G is the Christmas chord.
I like that. Like Jesus, maybe?
What is it?
Like Jesus? No? Too dad humor for this?
All this guitar bumpers out of my
You're too much of
wheelhouse.
a metalhead for us.
Here, power chords. Have you heard of those?
Oh, it sounds very aggressive. Don't know if I can handle that. But it's cool that that playing live is the litmus test for your songs, because obviously I've never seen you live. I've only started listening to you just around the start of lockdown. But from watching Day and Age, like, it looks like great crack. But one thing that kind of surprised me about the music videos in general, but particularly about the live shows, is that, this might sound stupid, but I was amazed by how much fun you were having, and like how endearing and positively engaging the performance and also the music videos with plot all were. And I want to ask, what emotions are you feeling when you perform them? Because obviously there's some pretty stark, angry emotions to the lyrics of a lot of the songs, but you look like it's a lot of fun to play. So what does it feel like to play them?
I think it's just like the harder lyrics, like the harder subject matter, that's more kind of this, as negative as the lyrics can be, it's a positive like output of it. And I think just live is kind of where we all feel more powerful than perhaps we would on, just another day at like our jobs or something. Like, it's just, it's hard to explain, but there is just this energy that happens when we're playing live together that, regardless of the subject of the song, which is like brings out just kind of, this just massive power in all of us. And
but
we all just managed to work off each other as well. And we're usually, sorry.
But like it's sorry, I thought now you go.
I think some of the like fun that you would be seeing as well is like Alana's saying, like with the harder hitting topics, like it comes from that place of power, but then we know before we get there, when we play Mediocre Man, that people are gonna feel various things about it. And we like thrust at each other and like dry heave on each other and all this weird stuff, and like we know that people are gonna be like, what? So we give it like the full conviction, like we're selling this moment, and it's really funny, like, because we know in advance that people are gonna be slightly confused by it. And we also have a song called Domestic Bliss, which we haven't released, but Alana basically just gutturally screams for like a minute and a half while the rest of us just lie on the floor. And people are always just looking like, what? And we find it hilarious, and it is really fun. And we just do that for the shock value and for the crack. And when we played Dublin one time, the crowd came with us.
Yeah, they sat down with us. I think they thought it was like a participation thing, because like it's more for us. That song is like gives everyone a break to just relax for a second from all the jumping around. And
Except
so
you, apparently.
the other three will sit down or lie down. Mm-hmm. And well, I mean, Bethany just kind of continues sitting on the drums, but but the audience at that Dublin show sat down on the floor with us because they thought it was a crowd participation gag. But I mean, people are like, welcome to do that if they so feel like doing that.
You're not necessarily encouraging them to at the shows, no?
But yeah, we like to do things live sometimes that we know in advance are going to be funny, or that are going to be like shocking, or that are going to have people's kind of attention. And that's where we have fun with it too, because we'll just be like, oh, should we do this? That'd be hilarious. And then it becomes like something we always do, and people either expect it and enjoy it, or they've never seen it before and they're just left completely confused.
Yeah, I think with some of the harder subject stuff as well is like, we don't want people to come to a gig and feel miserable. We want them to feel empowered.
Yeah.
So we try to have as much fun with it as possible, even if it is a song like Allegedly or Sell By Date or something. Like, we want them to feel as much of that positive energy as we have.
It's very cathartic as well. Sorry, Bev.
Well, I was going to say that we're all really into drag queens, and like watching all those lip syncs on RuPaul really takes their toll. Next thing you'll see a Problem Parents gig, a death drop or something.
Bagsy, not me doing it.
Yeah, no.
It'll probably be me doing it by accident because I trip over something. So
Right now, do you remember that time in Portrush? You tried to jump onto the wall and fell.
Yeah, I tried to put my leg up onto the wall and do a kick, and then I just fell on my ass and tore the muscle in my thigh. And I just had to get up and be like, ooh.
That's good crack.
Part of the show. But I mean, that's the same sort of approach that has made NoFX one of the most exciting live bands in the world. You know,
Yeah.
they're confident in the music, that part's done. They just look like they're having so much fun on stage, and if they're tight, then no one can say anything about it. And it seems like you guys have the same approach.
Yeah, one of the weirdest compliments we've ever got is that like we're incredibly scrappy live and that we don't care if we fuck up. Sorry, I could swear.
Yeah, you can swear. Yeah, that's great. We're not past the watershed, but fuck it. It's Berlin, no one gives a fuck. No, cool. And yeah, especially for a punk band, that's one of the highest praises you can get. So I've got more questions about the music videos than I was originally intending, because they're so much crack. They literally make me laugh out loud. And I want to know, do you guys write them, plan them, or is there some outside collaboration?
The big shouty one was us all kind of trying to basically keep busy in the first month of lockdown. So we all came up with that together. Same with the Christmas #1. And then Day and Age was just our friend Brendy following us around for a few gigs. And Gal Pals was us with our friend Elspeth Vischer. She's a filmmaker and a director, and we just met up with her, and she had the same ideas for the videos we did, but kind of like finely tuned them, and we all just kind of went to her flat and filmed it and invited some friends over. So it's all been very like collaborative.
No, that's good. And especially with the Christmas #1 video, because I recognized some cameos from Cherem in there, who I discovered Cherem, you guys, and Pillow Queens all on the same day, and it was a fucking great day. But
That's a good day.
I'm guessing some of the other people in that video are also in bands that I don't recognize. Are there any other cameos in there?
We had Drunk Drawer, we had Alumna, Gender Chores,
Joel Harkin.
Joel Harkin.
Sweet. These are all names I've seen in the related artists on your Spotify.
Yeah.
We only hang out with our related artists. Northern Ireland is so small, obviously, as you know. So there's only so many of us, and we all live like 5 minutes away from each other. So
no, I know well. Like I'm originally from Donegal, grew up in Leitrim, and I used to go to DIY punk shows in Enniskillen all the time.
Oh
and
my god!
Anyone who's in a band is in 5 bands. You know, same in Galway.
Yeah.
Also in the music videos, this is not really a question, just it made me so happy to see the Weezer album cover, because listening to Christmas #1, I'm like, they're Weezer fans for sure.
yeah,
Is it that obvious?
yeah.
Maybe I don't know.
Weezer fan.
Oh, I love Weezer. That Blue album is sacred to me.
Me too.
Excellent.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm one of those Weezer fans to a fault.
Oh yeah, so Ratitude as well. Red Album's on the table.
Oh no, not like
90s Weezer.
That's yeah. But it's, I could go into that on a whole other rant, so don't get me started.
Well, when I do a special episode on Weezer, I'll get you in for some expert opinions.
Please do.
How many tracks into the Green Album can we mark the moment that they stop being good?
Yes, I'm absolutely up for that.
And with cover art, that's one of the cool things about you guys releasing a bunch of singles on Spotify as opposed to just like 15 tracks on one album, is that we're spoiled with really cool covers for each of them. Gal Pal is probably my favorite, but Good For You Aren't You Great is brilliant as well. And also, excellent name for an EP. So, can you tell us a bit about the different covers for the singles?
So Gal Pals was our friend Jackie Sheridan, who also did the logo, our band logo that's on a lot of our merch. She just messaged us and liked that track and asked us could she do art basically. And there's loads of cool wee like Easter eggs in it. Like the beer can has like a wee magic wand on it, and there's like a little badge that says like it's like a joke about the red-handed Ulster. What does it say on it?
I can't remember.
There she is.
There she is.
Yeah, I zoomed
There's
in
a
the other
badge
day,
on the
but don't
jacket
remember.
that's like basically the red-handed Ulster doing the shocker.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Now that's on brand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So she killed it with that. It was really like she like went above and beyond and put all these wee like tidbits in that and Easter eggs that nobody would even notice.
Oh, I
So
know.
Alana does a lot of our art herself.
Oh, yeah?
Very
Yeah,
DIY.
like the good for you, aren't you great? Like, first of all, the title just came from us being in a band practice, and I think we were just ranting about something completely different. And I can't remember who said it exactly, but one of them was just like, well, good for you, aren't you great? Like about something outside. And we were like, album title. And then we were like, no, but that's the actual album title. And then, yeah, like I just thought with the idea of that, just like, you know, a little trophy, because the exact person that phrase would be towards would be the kind of person who would expect a trophy for everything. So we just thought trophy, confetti.
Yeah.
A little favor.
And a cardboard
Yeah.
trophy coloured in.
And Big Shouty is my mum.
Yeah.
Yeah?
The angry woman on the front of Big Shouty is just a really pissed off my mum on her honeymoon. Looking at my dad like, ugh. And I was like, that's great.
Yeah, I think it's great.
So yeah, it just looked perfect. I was like, I'm gonna have to use this for something at some point, and it just makes sense.
Mm.
And then allegedly it was just a garbage can because it just made sense for the subject matter. It's like pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Christmas one was Olive Crooks, Bethany's dog, who
My
has
dog.
also been on a number of our stickers. She's our icon. And then we did have a
Peter's a
Bandcamp
man.
release. Yeah, that's
was- yeah.
one of my siblings it was just this really like it was just this random photo shoot that they did with their friend where they were all just dressed up as these like weird cowboys but like looking miserable. And it was actually Beth and Kira were just basically lurking my siblings like Instagram page.
We
And they were like,
We were in Maverick. We were in a gay bar in Belfast after like a big march for equality that we'd been to, and we'd gone for a pint after it. And we were talking about how obsessed we are with Nev, Alana's sibling. And we were like looking on their Instagram and stuff. And then it was like, oh my God, that's the single art. And we need to message Alana and see if we can use that.
Awesome.
yeah, and they were more than happy with it.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's been cool to have a couple of different singles coming out every once in a while, but the inevitable question is, when are we getting an album?
Whenever
year.
it's written. We keep coming up with all these ideas, and like we have so many songs that we want to write, but then obviously like we can't all be in the same room. And I think that's a big catalyst for our creative process, is that actually being able to touch each other and talk to each other in person.
Can imagine.
I mean, we've written a couple of songs over Zoom, and like we're gonna try and maybe write a couple more, but it's just not the same.
Yeah.
So I think the writing process will start whenever we're physically close together.
Yeah. By osmosis, we write songs.
Yeah.
We all put
That's
our
it.
hands on each other and just.
It's like that bit in The Craft.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely been pushed back because we were on quite like a quick trajectory in terms of like we got our first single out within a month of being a band. We got the EP out within like 6 months of being a band, and I really think we thought at this point we'd probably have the album like fully written, and
Right.
then like we'd record it this year or put it out this year, and then like because of everything going on, it's been like, you know, brought to a halt. But hopefully, yeah, we can work on some things over Zoom. But yeah, I think it would be obviously more ideal for just how we do things to be in the same room and
Right.
work off it that way.
But for
Yeah, it'll probably be the first thing we do when the pandemic's over, pretty much.
Yeah.
We'll flow out of us.
So written, not recorded.
Written, not recorded, yeah.
Right. Yeah. I wanted to ask, when did you last get to rehearse then?
What?
When did you last get to rehearse?
Sorry?
Like, it must have been a while back.
Was it
You cut
sorry?
out.
Oh, sorry. Still there?
Yeah.
When was the last time you rehearsed?
Oof. We did this special event back in October or November for a queer festival called Outburst, and it was for this kind of one-off thing where we were covering a song by a openly queer woman before it was kind of cool to do so, and we covered a song called High School Confidential by a Canadian band called Rough Trade, led by this amazing woman called Carol Pope, who's just, I mean, you need to look her up. She's just incredible. But that was like the first time in months we had even been in the same room, and we practiced the day before, and then recorded it the next day for a like filmed special, basically. And that's been the only time since last March.
Yep. Yeah.
I'd say you went.
It was quite telling because we tried to play Mediocre Man, and
it was a hot mess.
We were all like, "How does it go?"
It was kind of like the story of Goldilocks, wasn't it, Beth? You were like, "Bev, you're being too slow. Bev, you're being too fast." Just acceptable.
Yeah, it was just right.
And it must have been weird not having an audience to bounce off as well. So.
What?
It must have been
Yeah,
weird.
we had our. No, go ahead. I heard the question, but I don't think anybody else did.
Must have been weird to play without an audience to sort of react to.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the strangest things. Like when we were rehearsing, we thought just as a wee joke that we would do an Instagram live just to kind of see what would happen. And that was like, I mean, it helped a little bit in terms of our energy, but it was still like weird.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, our friend Kira.
Cameras just pointing at.
Yeah, our friend Kira McMullen filmed it. And like she has been to she's probably been to all of our gigs, to be honest. She's a photographer, and I mean, she was giving us something. It was like a bit of energy to feed off, but it's not the same, especially whenever we're doing like Mediocre Man or Day and Age, because the crowd gets like really hyped for those. Those are like fan favorites, so you kind of really feed off that energy then. So it is odd playing in an empty room.
I can only imagine. Wow.
I mean, that sounds like our first few shows.
Yeah. I was going to say, we've kind of experienced that before, haven't we?
Oh, we've all been there. Until lockdown, I was a pub musician. I played to a lot of empty rooms, but I got paid. So, one very serious question before we go. You guys mentioned drag queens earlier. I was actually in a film here a few years ago with a Berlin drag queen called Jurassica Parka, and my name is Lightbreaker. So what are your metal names, or better still, drag queen names, or metal drag queen names?
Oh,
I've gone by the name. Sorry, in a previous project, I went by Alanorama.
That's good. That is good.
Whenever My Chemical Romance did their reunion tour, Mikey Way, the bassist, was wearing a t-shirt that said "Mikey effing Way," except it wasn't effing; it was the real word. And I really like that concept. So these guys from Rehearsed, they got me a t-shirt which said "Beverly Flippin' Bowl."
That is, I like that too.
That's
what
me.
was the question? My internet cut out and I didn't hear it.
I flipped between your metal name, your drag queen name.
I have a story about this.
Oh, perfect.
So me and my older brother are like big, huge Drag Race fans, and I have a twin brother who's not so into it. And we came up with a whole house. So like drag queens have a house. So there's like the House of Edwards, the House of Asia, and all that. We're the House of Elbows.
Ooh.
So my brother he's called Blaine and he's called Lillian Elbows. That's his drag name. And so we have Lillian, Fidelma, and Fistulus Elbows.
Oh.
Fistulus is my favorite of those, I think.
Yeah. So I have a whole like document on my phone of just drag names that we come up with that are stupid.
The one question that wasn't actually on my notes going into this, and you've got the most well thought out answer. Kira, what about you?
Well, for my metal name, I would go with Kingslayer, obviously, because my name's Kira King. Yeah. But for my drag king name, because I'm Kira King and I'm from Northern Ireland, it would have to be King Billy.
I love that so much.
I feel like I would like just wear like just a sash.
Kira, can I be your wall?
Yes.
King Billy and her wall.
Yes, please. Yeah, no, King Billy's not real as well.
King Billy
I
Slayer.
heard.
He's a stud.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I can't think of a better way to wrap it up than that. Girls, thanks so much for giving me your time. Everyone check out Problem Patterns on Bandcamp, Facebook, YouTube, all that good stuff. And look forward to hearing that album, hopefully sooner than it seems right now.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks so much.
Cheers, guys. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to get notifications about any future interviews I post here on the page. Or better still, listen to The Coffin Nail live every second Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. Central European Time on Keith FM. That's KEITHFEM.com. You can also listen to full episodes on mixcloud.com/The Lightbreaker. I'm on Twitter at thecoffinnailradio, and you can write to me with any questions at thecoffinnailradio@gmail.com. Thanks very much. I'll see you soon.